He's that perfect guy to fill in that spotlight.
Hello, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always got something to say about the Blue Jays. I'm your host, Nicholas Blaylog.
And I'm your host, Adam PEDDLE. And today, we have a video suggested by one of you, Epsy. I think that's how you say your name. Epsy, you asked us to make a podcast on our top 5 most realistic Blue Jay free agent signings.
Keyword realistic.
Realistic. We gotta keep that in mind. Before we get into it, guys, just make sure to hit that notification bell. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're appreciating all the support we're getting. A lot of you guys coming in, watching us. We're growing ever so slightly, so keep it up, guys. Hit that like button. We love it.
And also, too, don't be afraid to toss out some comments and stuff, because as you can see, this was literally a fan suggestion, and, we're making it happen right now.
Yeah, we're looking for things to talk about.
Yeah, we're literally looking for things to talk about right now. It's the off season. There's not a lot going on. Don't forget the Patreon, too. The money, the moolah.
Yes, if you're from the States and have American dollars that you want to send to us Canadians, it's in the description down below.
Description. You can do it.
Yes.
Let's break into this video, man. So, we're talking about the top 5 guys who are most realistic, and we're also going to project a little bit as to what we think those deals could be.
Yeah, and they're not in any order. It's not like number 1 is the most likely or number 5 is the least likely. It's just kind of what we think will probably help our team moving forward. And just a little, what went into this decision is, again, guys, we're going through a transitional phase. We still have rookies coming up through the system, so we need a lot of bridge guys.
Sure.
And I think that, as you might be able to tell, can kind of feed into these decisions.
I mean, and I agree with what you just said. However, I will say I do think that number 1 here is actually the most likely.
Yes, this one right here.
And that's going to be Taijuan Walker. We all know him. We remember him from last year. He did great for us. What do you think about Taijuan Walker? What would a deal look like for Taijuan Walker? Is it going to happen?
So Taijuan Walker, we both said that we realistically think it could be a 2-year deal for $22 million. That's $11 million a year. And the reason why is because there's a little bit of question mark around Taijuan Walker. He had Tommy John surgery in 2019, as we all know. And this year he pitched great. He pitched a 2.70 ERA, 1.16 WHIP, and a strikeout 8.4 for 9. Now the thing is, I think Taijuan, I believe he's 29 or 30?
28.
28,
actually.
Okay, yeah. So he's going to want to ramp himself up to have some good, solid years to get ready for that big signing. And I think right now we're a little bit, we have people like Nate Pearson coming and a lot of our younger pitchers coming through the system. So a 2-year deal is safer, I would say, than trying to lock them down for 4 years.
Well, the reason I think that this works for both sides is because Walker, even though he was elite last year, 2.7 ERA, very, very nice, he hasn't put up elite career numbers. He's been very, very average, actually, for, throughout his whole career. And like you said, too, he hasn't been able to necessarily stay healthy. He hasn't pitched, a crazy amount of innings in 1 year. That's because of, maybe health and opportunity. Now that he's 28, though, I could believe that he is developing right now. I could believe that last year was the beginning of something special for Taijuan Walker. However, I'm not quite ready to fully cash in yet on him. And I think from his perspective, he's thinking, okay, 2 years, when I get out of this, I'm going to be 30, 31. That's going to be perfect time for someone to lock me down for a nice 5-6 year juicy deal after I've proven myself that I am capable of doing this. I am capable of pitching, 175 innings, staying healthy, and giving my team a fighting chance to win.
And here's an option I just thought of when you were saying that. Let's say he does well for a year. I could see this being kind of like a Marco Estrada situation where all of a sudden he performs some elite all-star numbers and we extend him for a couple of years. Those are options. And he said before, he likes Toronto. He likes the team. He'd like to play for us.
He does like Toronto a lot, and I do think this will happen. Maybe not for this dollar amount or whatever. This is just our projection. But I do think we will see Taijuan Walker in a Blue Jays jersey once again from the reports that we're getting this offseason.
Absolutely. Lock. I'm going to lock that in.
You're doing the good morning football.
Yeah, good morning football.
Gotta make our own lock.
Yeah, right. That's coming for season 2.
Season 2. Yeah. Like our cage.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right, who's number 2?
Number 2 on this, we've got another starting pitcher, and his name is Jake ODORIZZI.
Jake ODORIZZI.
Yes.
Ooh,
Why? How long do we want Jake ODORIZZI, and how much money do we want to give Jake ODORIZZI?
Yeah. Jake ODORIZZI, actually, he is the most expensive guy that we said is on our list. Not necessarily counting our honorable mention. We will get to our honorable mention after. But Jake ODORIZZI, we said 2-year, 27 mil. So what does that math work out? 13 and a half a year?
2-year, 20. Yeah, 13 and a
half. Here's the thing with Jake ODORIZZI. Jake ODORIZZI put up all-star numbers in 2019 and then got hurt. And then didn't really pitch a lot this year. So you're in this tough situation right now where you're looking like, damn, man, if he could get back to his all-star numbers that he was putting up, then wow, he's going to be great, and I'd love to sign this guy to like 4 or 5 years.
Yes.
But we don't know that for sure, and that's why, once again, and there will be a theme to these deals that we're talking about, I'm projecting a 2-year deal where he can, still get paid decently well, but not break the bank.
Yeah, because we don't want to take that risk, guys. It's like, here's the thing. Like, again, we are bridging the gap between our young guys. And Jake ODORIZZI, like you said, those injury concerns, we just want to be a little bit careful. And I think Jake ODORIZZI would rather have this himself, a shorter deal to really get that big payout. Because he's had one good year. If he could put up a year or two in Toronto, that's really good.
Yeah.
Now you're looking really nice.
And I pulled up the stats here because I was pretty confident that I knew what they were, but I just wanted to remind myself. And this is the thing. Prior to his year where he was an all-star and he got, he pitched for an ERA of 3.51. So very, very solid, very good rotational guy. He had 2 years where he had an above 4 ERA, and that was, in 2018 it was 4.49, so not that good. And then in 2017, 4.14, so very average. This is a guy who, like, if he can get to that ceiling of 2019, 3.51, that's going to be amazing.
Yes.
And that's why he's going to command, I think, more than some of the other guys here, because the ceiling is very, very high. And he has proven it. He has proven it, whereas some of these other guys, I guess they haven't. But Walker necessarily, I don't think Walker has proven it over the course of a whole year.
Yeah.
He proved it last year, but, Shane Bieber pitched for what? Like a 1.7 ERA? This is not sustainable stuff.
Exactly. We need a full season. That's why also this year is kind of weird. We with the whole COVID and the shortened season, as well as some people may not have money. However, this is a total side note. I heard a little bit of rumors that the Jays, owned by Rogers, have actually a lot of money because they're owned by a telecommunications company that doesn't necessarily rely on baseball for their revenue. So we actually have a little bit more than some other teams.
It'll be nice to be rich, to be one of the rich boys.
Oh yeah.
So yep, Jake ODORIZZI. I'd be very happy if we lock him now.
Absolutely.
In the rotation.
What is it, number 3?
Number 3. Yeah. So this one. We're gonna step away from the pitchers for a second here, because literally, spoiler alert, 4 of these guys on our list are pitchers. Wonder what our need is this season.
I wonder.
So the guy that we're gonna talk about here, and there's been a lot of rumors about this. I remember hearing, should we trade for this guy this past year? Like blah blah blah. That guy is Tommy LaStella. Now Tommy LaStella, to me, is, and the more I was looking at it, because I came into this and I was like, Tommy LaStella, I don't know if we need that guy. Like, we have people who know that. I was like, you know what? This would be, in my opinion, a very intriguing dart throw that I think could pay off pretty big if he hits.
Tommy LaStella, we're kind of saying that he gets a 2-year deal for $14 million because Tommy LaStella hasn't been getting any money. I think his last deal was like $3.2 million, but that got cut down a lot.
Yeah,
a lot because of COVID. And Tommy LaStella's second and third base eligible in his subscription, and that would work perfectly for infield. Kevin Biggio is second and third and outfield, and we are looking for a third baseman.
Yeah,
and
Travis Shaw ain't gonna cut it anymore.
Yeah, no more Travis Shaw. And little piece of information here why Tommy LaStella probably would want a 2-year deal. Honestly, if I was Tommy LaStella, I'd look for honestly a little bit more. But if we get him on the Jays, 2-year deal would be ideal for us. We can pay him $7 million a year and bridge that gap between when Jordan Groshans eventually comes to the league.
Yeah. So let me just give you guys a background on Tommy La Stella and why we think he'd be worth, a 2-year, $14 million deal. Tommy La Stella, he's never actually had a full year of like, I am the guy, I'm the starter, like I am, whatever. And when he was doing it with the Angels in 2019.
Yeah.
And he became an all-star.
Yeah.
But he got hurt, and he only had, in that year, 292 at-bats. So that's roughly, I'd say, half of his season. Before that, he had only breached the gap of 300 at-bats one time.
With the Cubs, when they were winning.
Yeah, with the Cubs. He was with the Cubs for a long time, so he wasn't necessarily like a starting guy for them. He was kind of a bench guy. But in that year, in 2019, he hit for 295. Granted, again, like a half a season of whatever, but 295. He had an on-base percentage of 346 and a slugging of 486. That's really good. And then when you look at what he did, so he got hurt. And we're thinking, okay, he got hurt. I hope he gets back to form. Well, this past year he hit for 281.
Yeah,
and he did it with the Angels, and then got moved over to Oakland, and he played the whole season, wasn't dealing with an injury there.
No.
So 281, 295, like this is all numbers that I like to see. And if we could sign this guy to a, low risk, low money deal, lowball the guy at 2 years for $14 million.
Oh, yeah.
With the payoff of potentially being our starter at third base, who could also be an all-star, I think that we need to smash the accept button on this guy immediately.
Oh, yeah. And where would he... And he'd bat, this all-star, he'd bat in, what, the 6th spot, maybe? Like, where would he bat? You know what I mean? That's just going to make our lineup even more dangerous.
And you know what? And the floor is on this guy, because, like, his career numbers, like, I want to say it's, like, 274 or something like that, his career batting average. Is that right? That's exactly right. Yeah. So, that's not bad at all, That's not bad at all. And if he was to dip even to like 260, I think we'd still be happy with that for the money that we're paying him.
He's perfect. He's that perfect guy to fill in that spot. Like, he's the one, that's that one position that needs to be filled. He'd be great for that.
Yeah, I totally agree.
All right. So we got our number 4 now. We're flying back over to starting pitching land, the high demand land.
Yes, back in the land.
And this guy's name is James Paxton, the
also
Canadian.
known as Big Maple.
Yes, you might remember him throwing a no-hitter against us a few years ago.
Yeah.
Doing this. And why do we think James Paxton's going to be on the Jays? I just think another fact, he's a free agent. He's in this in-between phase of like injury and he needs to prove himself again. But he's also just Canadian, guys. I mean, why wouldn't you want to come back?
Why wouldn't you want to pitch for the team, represent Canada? And, I think James Paxton, from, hearing him speak and stuff, like, he's loves Canada, loves everything about it. And I could totally see this guy coming to play for us, he is coming off of a down year. And he is one of those guys as well where having a hard time staying healthy, having a hard time staying on the field. And this is not just what happened last year, but, he's been dealing with this stuff for quite a while now. And he had surgery done. I think it was Tommy John, I want to say.
Was it? Or I forget. It was something.
I do believe that he had a surgery prior to this season.
Yeah, it was a surgery,
but then also in this season, he got hurt again.
Yeah, he hurt his hip.
And I remember I had him on my fantasy team, and his fastball velo, it dipped. I remember them talking about this, and it was like, it has dropped like 3-4 miles per hour. That's not ideal. That's not something that you want to see in a starting pitcher.
But however, we have this opportunity, we have all this money to take these risks again. We risked it with Anderson, we risked it with Roark. Can we risk it with James Paxton? Because James Paxton the year prior had an ERA of 3.82 and 11. This one blew my mind. 11.1 strikeouts per 9. Wow. That's insane. And can he return back to form? I think James Paxton would probably want, and this is what we said, a 2-year, $24 million deal, just to kind of, again, prove himself, establish himself. But can he do it, Nicholas?
You feel that in here, bro?
I mean, it feels a little bit heat. Yeah, I got to turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a hotness in here. I'm feeling it's getting a little bit.
Oh, you
Getting a little bit,
okay?
getting a little bit warm. I think it might be time for our first ever hot take. All right, guys, welcome to a new segment of ours, the hot take. It is sponsored by the San Francisco sauce. We tried it earlier today. It is phenomenal if you're looking for a nice hot sauce. I really like the hot AF, personally.
Me too. I like things hot, and the hot AF is certainly hot AF.
Yeah.
If you want to see more and you want to buy and purchase the San Francisco hot sauce, I'm going to put the website in the description down below. Make sure to check it out. Really cool guy, really awesome guy. I'm sure you guys will love it.
Yeah, seriously. And what better thing to sponsor a hot take than a hot sauce? And let me tell you, this is a bit of a hot sauce hot take.
It is.
I'm saying that, James Paxton, he just had a year where he's been hurt bad. His fastball velo is not looking good. His command was not looking good. Literally everything about him was like, oh my gosh, this guy might not get back to form after these injuries. Step in the Toronto Blue Jays in 2021. I'm saying we sign James Paxton. We get him to a deal similar to what we projected, 2-year, $24 million. And James Paxton getting the patriotism going, getting that Toronto, getting that Canadian feel. He returns to form, and he finally becomes an all-star.
Yes.
And little cherry on the James Paxton cake, little James Paxton sundae. He throws a no-hitter against the Yankees.
Okay, you heard it here first on Blue Jays Today. James Paxton is throwing a no-hitter against the New York Yankees next year and will become an all-star. That is Nick's hot take. We'll have more hot takes for you guys throughout the season.
Yeah, coming very soon.
Very
soon.
So, you know what? I'm all for it. James Paxton, let's give him a shot. I think it's going to be really good and refreshing to see some Canadian faces on a Canadian team.
You want to talk about our last guy here? Okay, so this guy, another starting pitcher. I'm very intrigued by this guy, but he's also, I think maybe there are some question marks for sure. His name is Jose Quintana.
Some of you were like, whoa?
Yeah. Did you know? This is just a fun little thing, and I kind of feel bad for the Cubs who own them.
Yeah.
But they traded away Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease to get Jose Quintana from the White Sox.
I traded Jose Quintana for Blake Snell in fantasy 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think much different implications, but I do believe that they probably lost that trade.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up Quintana's stats right now, but a little bit of background on this guy. He's 31, 32 years old right now, and he also has had a hard time staying healthy.
Yeah, he's had a thumb and an arm injury in 2020 and missed most of the season. This guy, he doesn't have the most impressive ERA of. I have his 2019 numbers here.
Yeah,
it's 4.68 ERA, 1.38 WHIP. 8 strikeouts per 9. It's not the most impressive. However, this guy is going to be super duper cheap, and he could be one of those roll the dice because.
And what is intriguing about Jose Quintana is that even though, and he has been on a downward trend, he's definitely been on a downward trend. I think a lot of that has to do with injury, but he's been on a downward trend. But his career ERA is 3.73.
Yeah.
And, if you were to get a guy, you were to sign a guy 2-year, what we were saying was 2-year, $16 million deal. So that's roughly $8 million per year. If you were to sign a guy to $8 million per year and he could put up, 3.7 ERA, I would be very pleased with that. And but
I hope it's just not like a Tanner Roark thing, because Tanner Roark was good to start his career and then just slowly.
And you know what? I am looking actually at when he was playing on the White Sox. And whatever. So he was on the White Sox in 2017, and then he got traded to the Cubs. And I understand why the Cubs would have made this deal, because some of his previous years, I'll just go from 2013, but 3.51 ERA, 3.32, 3.36, 3.20. Then he had a little bit of literally what happened was
You traded.
Yeah, he got traded. He got traded, and then that year when he got traded, he had 4.15, and then it's been downward ever since. Now it's at 4.03, 4.68. So
maybe we can revitalize him.
that is what it is. That is what it is with this guy. It's literally like, do you want to take what is relatively a cheap dart throw on someone who has definitely proven that he can pitch at a very elite level in his career, albeit he hasn't done it in maybe 2-3 years.
He hasn't done it in a while, but you know what? That's one person that we honestly, it's like if we're talking realistic, sign him to.
I mean, like if we're gonna miss out on like maybe some of these other guys, we're gonna miss out on ODORIZZI, we're gonna miss out on Paxton. You know, like who knows? I do think we're gonna get Walker, but maybe something goes wrong there. Like I think that this guy would be a very reasonable guy to have in the lineup. Yeah, I prefer him to Tanner Roark. I prefer him to Chase Anderson.
Exactly. It's like that. That's all it's gonna be, guys. We're gonna again bridge that gap, throw some darts. Maybe some guys hit, and we don't need to hope for breakout stars on our team. Breakout stars are just butter over a well-founded core group of people.
Buttering up the juicy little bun of the Blue Jays.
The bum.
The bun. yes.
I thought you said bun, and it's bun.
Yeah. buttering that juicy little bum up.
We also, before we conclude this video, have a little bit of an honorable mention.
You know what? And at first, like when we were talking about this guy, I guess I ignorantly thought, I was like, there's no way. Like, we're not gonna let that's not gonna happen. The Yankees are gonna let this guy go. That guy is DJ LeMahieu. I still do think that the Yankees are going to do everything in their power to hold on to him. God knows I would if I was the New York Yankees. But he would be a very elite option when we're talking about getting a guy to be that third base, that second base, that first base, all eligible on the infield. Wow, DJ LeMahieu would fit the freaking bill.
And what's amazing about it, like I have a couple numbers here, just roughly off top of my head of what he'd even command. And it could look like a 3-year, $68-70 million deal. Like he's gonna command because Buddy's been leading the league in average for the last 2 years.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Like when you hit like 800 as he does, it's like you're gonna get paid.
Oh yeah.
Like he is right up there. Like I remember we were talking about like who's the best leadoff man in the game, and I think we were it was consistently last year going back and forth between LeMahieu and Tim Anderson. But like I do think LeMahieu is like right there, if not the guy. And he's also elite defensively as well. Oh my
god! And that's what we need too. Yeah. Like and that's one of the needs that the Blue Jays talk about: starting pitching and defense. And like bringing people like DJ LeMahieu over, like a veteran infielder, where a lot of our errors happen in the infield. There's more than just his average and his production numbers that he brings. He brings experience, because right now the kids, who's their leader? Who's their leader right now?
Grichuk.
Maybe. Right?
Maybe Ryu, I guess. But
maybe Ryu, but it's like, maybe there's a little bit of a language barrier and he's a starting pitcher.
Sure, yeah, different thing.
Different thing, but we need a guy who has seen it all, done it all, been the best at his position many, many times, and can lead a young squad.
And DJ LeMahieu has a lot of postseason experience.
Yeah.
He's played, and as much as we harp on the Yankees and we hate the Yankees, they are a winning ball club with a winning mentality.
Yep.
And he has played on them for a couple of years now. He played on the Rockies, and he's just been pretty much elite wherever he's been hitting. So DJ LeMahieu would literally be phenomenal. I posed the question to you. It's like, if we were to get a guy like DJ LeMahieu, like what do you think the deal would look like? And then like what would our where would he play? Like what would we do, man?
So like I said, like I think it could be like a 3-year, $68-70 million deal. Like I think it's gonna command, especially if we shorten it a bit. And I think he's gonna move around the diamond. He's gonna give maybe Vladdy some days off at first, or give Rowdy some days off at first. He's gonna play. And this is an interesting question. I think he's going to play a lot of second, because that's what he usually plays.
Yeah.
And Cavan's kind of like shifted over to that third base spot. So my guess is that LeMahieu would play second, Cavan would play third, because, Cavan could do everything he wants.
I did read an article very recently talking about how they're thinking about maybe moving Vlad. back to third.
Yeah.
And Vlad has been kind of like training the body up and
Yes.
seeing if he can't get himself in shape for that hot corner.
He's lost 32 pounds in summer camp, so
nice. That
signs.
is very reassuring. Something that I'm looking forward to seeing is Vlad Jr. just looking absolutely shredded.
Oh, I want to come in just like freaking like DK Metcalf.
Full DK. That'd be
ridiculous. Like he did roids.
Yeah, it's like, how did this happen in like 6 months?
Yeah, right.
But man, like if we got DJ LeMahieu, I actually like I don't want to drag this video out any longer, but it's like where would he bat? Like would he be first or would Biggio be first?
See, I was like, what if you just put him in the third spot? He is, but also second spot, like you mentioned before, as becoming more of like the best hitter on your team. Well, bat second.
Well, I think realistically, because I know we were talking, it's like, oh, it's got to bat first. But I'm thinking to myself, Biggio is an on-base specialist.
Yeah.
And let's face it, like his bat is not nearly as elite as DJ LeMahieu. So if you put Biggio first, get him going with the walks, get him on base, let's cash in with DJ's, like 330 average that he provides. And like he could rack up the RBI numbers and he could rack up the run numbers. Yeah. If in that third spot you get Lourdes or Bo, whatever.
Yeah, it'd have to be Bo, you'd think, and then like fourth would be Lourdes, and then Guerrero.
Well, I don't know if it would be Bo actually, because it's like I feel like Bo's got more power than Gurriel.
But Bo, like I don't know, like I feel like we're building our team for Bo to be like the man, like he's the Tatis. So like Bo that's why he's in the 2 spot. And it's like, well, now we have LeMahieu. Like, does LeMahieu take over Bo and then move Bo? The point is, guys, we literally have Hernandez, breakout candidate last year, batting 6.
Yeah, I mean,
which is messed up.
Regardless of what it would be and whatever, it would be a very nice problem.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
And I would enjoy trying to solve it on the podcast.
Yeah, right. And we definitely have a top 10 lineup at that point.
Yeah. I mean, like we'd be looking very. And if Vlad could come out swinging like he's projected to do, and he's come out like we were talking today. You said he's been saying, "Hey man, I was embarrassed. I did not show up in the right form. No, you didn't. But I'm happy that you're acknowledging this now." Yeah. And he said, like when we're making comparisons of himself to Juan Soto, he's comparing himself to Tatis, and he's saying, "Hey, like these guys are performing elite because they're having elite work ethics, and I gotta get there myself." And when Vlad came into this league, the ceiling was like a Juan Soto, like a Tatis. So if he was to come in and then start doing that stuff, then like
that's unreal.
Watch out.
Blue Jays are absolutely going for the division title.
Yeah. At that point, we are we were right up there, and
we're in the conversation.
Yeah, we're 1,000% in the conversation. So. This is all super exciting, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what happens. It's probably going to take a little while to get these guys going, but this is going to be awesome.
We'll see. And we'll give you guys all the update stuff. Whenever we find out that someone's been signed or whatever, we're going to definitely make a podcast on it. We even have articles that are coming up. Yeah. We got a guy, Justin Walters. He's our article writer, and he's going to be posting on our website, which is going to be in our description.
He will be breaking down for you guys everyone that we talked about today, potentially a couple other people, what it would look like to have them on the team, and why and or why not we should get them. But I'm curious to know what you guys think, so please let us know in the comments down below. Out of all these guys that we talked about, who is your number one dream guy to get? We didn't even touch on Trevor Bauer. Realistically, it's not that realistic just because he is the most highly touted free agent. However, for good reason, we would definitely love to see him on the team. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below.
And make sure to subscribe. Again, hit that notification button so you can get these updates as we're moving along through this off season. And also make sure to follow us on all of our podcast platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Anchor, and Radio Public, and on our Instagram and our Twitter. And send us money.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
And go Jays go.